Good evening, South Mississippi. Meteorologist Taylor Graham here, joining you from the newsroom this Saturday night, and hopefully you've been able to stay cool today. It definitely was hot and humid once again, especially throughout the first part of our Saturday. This afternoon, we did see several showers and storms, some of which were on the strong side, but at least those of us that got some rain today were able to cool down by the afternoon. As of about 9 o'clock, we are mainly in the upper 70s in South Mississippi, seeing some mid 70s here or there. It is a warm, muggy summer night. The rain has dissipated at this point, and overnight tonight, rain chances are basically going to stay slim to none. Not really expecting much in the way of rain over the next several hours. And temperatures are also going to stay pretty steady overnight tonight, generally looking at morning lows in the low to mid 70s. And tomorrow morning, we're likely going to be starting off dry. However, tomorrow afternoon, we've got another decent chance of seeing some showers and storms. Not everyone necessarily guaranteed to see the rain in South Mississippi, but similar to today, some of these storms may have some heavy rain, some frequent lightning, and some gusty winds that could certainly impact your outdoor plans. And before we get any showers and storms tomorrow, you guessed it, it's going to be hot and it will be humid. Temperatures tomorrow likely going to be climbing up into the mid to upper 90s. So first alert radar right now, pretty quiet. Maybe a few little isolated showers over into Pearl River County. What we're mainly seeing there is just some radar clutter, not really picking up on any rainfall for the most part. Over the past day or earlier today, some of us picked up, according to radar estimates, over 2 inches of rain. Others of us, as you can see, didn't pick up any rain at all. That's very typical of this time of the year, and tomorrow's going to be a similar situation. Some of us may see some heavy rain, a quick 1 to 2 inches. Others of us will completely miss out. But even if you miss out on the rain, you may still see some lightning in the distance or hearing some thunder. So even if you hear some thunder, as we always say, when thunder roars, go indoors. So even if you're not under the gun, under a thunderstorm, if you hear some thunder, I'd say the best advice is to try to head inside. Across the region, we can see over the past few hours that most of these showers and storms have dissipated. We've lost some of that daytime heating, some of the energy in the atmosphere. We've got a ridge of high pressure nearby the southeast, but even underneath this ridge, we're still going to keep a chance for some of those showers and storms. With this ridge in place, it is going to cause us to be very hot again tomorrow. Average high for Gulfport this time of the year is at 91. We're more so looking at the mid to upper 90s throughout South Mississippi tomorrow afternoon. We'll start off in the 70s, not bad. By lunchtime, we're already going to be in the low to mid 90s. A few upper 90s are expected a little bit farther inland. And typical of this time of the year, we're going to see some of those afternoon, summertime showers and storms where some of those may produce some heavy rain in a short amount of time. Some localized flooding is going to be possible. Even today on my dinner break, I still noticed some ponding on some of the roads where we had some heavier downpours. That's maybe going to slow you down a little bit as we get into Sunday afternoon. And then it's more of the same. Monday, we start off in the 70s. As we get into the afternoon, we're looking at temperatures in the low to mid 90s. And just like clockwork, by the afternoon and evening, we're going to see some of those daily showers and storms. I will say, I apologize that ran through real quick there, but heat index tomorrow likely going to be above 105 at times, maybe even as high as 110. Not going to rule that out. We don't officially have a heat advisory tomorrow, regardless of if we're under a heat advisory or not. It's going to be very hot and humid. So even before we see the showers and storms, the heat may be making it uncomfortable to stay outside for very long. And with it being so hot the past few days, that adds a little extra stress to your body. Just take it easy if you're going to be spending much time outside. Don't push yourself too hard. Over the next 5, 6, 7 days, it's going to be hot, but it will be a little less hot once we get into Friday and Saturday. Still looking at temperatures upper 80s to low 90s, but we're not going to be underneath a ridge of high pressure at that point. We're also looking at a decent chance for more showers and storms by the end of the week. I wouldn't be surprised if we needed to increase our rain chances a little bit more if everything comes together as expected at this point. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, just be on guard for some of those afternoon showers and storms. One day you may get caught under those heavier downpours. Another day you may miss out completely. It's a little luck of the draw who exactly is going to see that. But if you're from this area, you kind of know how it goes during the summer months. These showers and storms can be a little more hit or miss. In the tropics, We do have Hurricane Aaron, which earlier today became a Category 5 hurricane. At this time, it's still very powerful, Category 4, but it has weakened a little bit. So we'll talk about Aaron. We also have two other areas we're watching for development, one of those being a little disturbance area of low pressure off the East Coast. It's not a concern for us. And then we have a new area highlighted out in the central Atlantic. Nothing there at this time, but we do anticipate a tropical wave to move over the open Atlantic at some point next week. There is a chance it could develop once we get into next week and over the next 7 days. Development chances at this time are looking pretty low, but forecast models have been picking up on that. We're getting into that time of year, especially mid to late August, where we get a lot of these tropical waves to come off the coast of Africa, and they move almost consecutively across the Atlantic. So this is not uncommon, but this is still in the very, very early stages where we're watching something. Really too early to know many details. As for Hurricane Aaron, it is just to the northeast of Puerto Rico. They have been seeing some of the rain bands on the outskirts, thankfully not feeling the full-fledged impacts out of Aaron. Far from that, thank goodness. Hurricane Aaron, as of 7 o'clock, was a Category 4, winds of 150 miles per hour. Earlier today, it was a Cat 5 with winds of 160 miles per hour, and it rapidly intensified early Saturday morning. Even from yesterday, it is much, much stronger. But it's going through something that we call eye wall replacement, where the old eye wall is getting replaced with the new eye wall. And when that happens, typically it happens within these very intense hurricanes. They typically weaken a little bit. We'll see if Aaron's going to be able to regain a little bit more of its strength over the next few hours. Regardless, a very powerful hurricane. It is expected to curve up into the western Atlantic over the next several days. Not really going to be impacting too many areas, thankfully. Bermuda still needs to keep an eye on that by Wednesday and into Thursday. But as for any direct impacts to the U.S., not really seeing that. Of course, Puerto Rico, they're seeing some of the rain, some decent wind gusts, it would seem like, within some of those outer rain bands. But the worst of Aaron is going to be staying far enough away from Puerto Rico, so that's some good news. If anything, it may be causing a higher chance of rip currents along the East Coast by Tuesday, Wednesday, and into Thursday. But for the most part, Aaron is expected to remain out at sea. Then, like I mentioned, we will be watching another tropical wave that's going to be moving over the open Atlantic over the next week or so. As it moves over the warm water, it will have a chance of becoming a little bit more organized. But it is far too early to know many details about this, where it may be going, how strong it's going to get. Just emphasizing, though, we're getting into that time of the year, into late August, early September, where these tropical waves commonly move over the open Atlantic, and we hope that nothing develops out of it, but this is the time of year where we really need to stay on guard. So development chances at this time pretty low. You may already be seeing some scary forecast models posted on social media. Take those with a giant grain of salt. Nothing has even developed yet at this point, so this is much of a wait-and-see situation as to what's actually going to become of that. So again, not uncommon whatsoever for this to happen during this time of the year where we get those tropical waves to move over the Atlantic. So the next name on the list is Fernan. If anything else were to be named, of course, Aaron was our first hurricane of the season. It also became our first major hurricane and the first Category 5 hurricane. So Aaron definitely overachieved with that. Other than that, we've only had tropical storms so far this year. But Fernan, that is the next name on the list. And hopefully we don't have any named storms in the near future. But like I said, we are getting into that time of the year where we typically see more and more tropical activity. So best to stay tuned on what's going on in the tropics over the next several weeks. I really hope and pray that we don't have anything to deal with in the Gulf throughout the rest of this hurricane season, but that is, of course, a reality here living in South Mississippi that we have to deal with that sometimes. So tomorrow, decent chance for some showers and storms in the afternoon. Hot, humid. That's not going to change anytime soon. It will be a little less hot by the end of the week, but still aiming for high temperatures, upper 80s and low 90s. Nothing too unusual in our 7-day forecast for South Mississippi. So time now is 9:40. I will have another look at our forecast coming up during our 10 o'clock show. The National Hurricane Center will also have another update, the latest update on Hurricane Aaron as of 10 o'clock. I will be showing that during our 10 o'clock newscast if you're curious to see the latest intensity and forecast track for Aaron. So with that, I will be getting ready for our 10 o'clock show, and hopefully you can join us at WLOX.